What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the Wise Take NFL DFS Wise Stream, Week 5. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013, and I'm joined once again by the two OGs. First up, you can find him on Twitter at Paulie with 8 Ds. 7 wasn't good enough. Talking about the true OG, Paulie D. Paulie D, what's happening?
What's up, man? What's going on?
Nothing, man. Appreciate you guys holding down the fort last week. Got a little under the weather. You know, it was not COVID. I did get a COVID test. It was not COVID. Apparently, there are other colds and the flu and all these things. They still exist, apparently. It's not just COVID going around. You could still get sick with other things. I found that out. It was a very sick household. CK household was a very sick one. Also joined by this skinny motherfucker over here, Patio Joe. You can find him on Twitter at Patio Joe Ref. Joey looking a little sweaty right now. It's his Dodgers. Play the one-game playoff with the Cardinals. Joey, what's happening?
Not much, man. Yeah, I am sweating this game out. I knew it was going to be tough. One game, baseball, anything can happen in a 5 or 7 game series. The Dodgers will probably beat the Cardinals, but one game, anything can happen. So it's been close, but still not out of the woods yet. They just walked Bellinger, so we're happy there. But yeah, you know, you're talking about COVID. I got sick back in like February, and I thought for sure I had it. And it just turned out to be I just got a really bad flu. And it's funny because like now whenever somebody gets sick or a cold or a cough or whatever, we have to say like it's not COVID.
Bro, it's true.
Say, yeah, I have a cold.
It's true. I tell you what, and not for nothing. I said this on Twitter, but I know Paulie had mentioned the last time. Like, regardless of COVID, like, I've always been kind of a germaphobe. You know what I mean? Like when I moved to the Northeast, and I'm from the Northeast originally, but I had grown up all over the place. When I moved back to the Northeast, everybody does like the hug and kiss thing, and I did not like that. You know, when I first, I'm like, "What are you doing?" Like, I'm back up. I don't know where you've been. You know, I've always kind of, yeah, man. You know, and now I feel like I can be myself without being judged because everybody's kind of doing that. So it's just like, I feel like I can just kind of be myself. Funny. I don't have to fake it anymore and pretend like I enjoy that part of the greetings. But yeah, man. Paulie, when's the last time you had like a cold, bro?
A while ago. I had like one since COVID where like I was like under the weather and had to deal with like, hey, this is COVID, and like, you know, I had all the symptoms I should have been, you know, but other than that, that's it. No, it wasn't it, and I was good in like a day. But yeah, I don't deal with that much. You know
what scares me is like when COVID came. Like, listen, man, like we're not elderly, all that kind of stuff, right? So it's like, okay, I'm gonna try to be careful for others, but for me myself, I'm not that worried. I'll go to the grocery store and do what I gotta do. Then you catch a cold, and that shit kicks your fucking ass, and then you're like, man, I don't want to catch this shit, man. Like, I'm not so sure anymore, bro. Like my confidence took a hit to my confidence, bro. You know, no, of course, but no, of course, but it's just like really like if you're sitting back thinking like, man, I'm young, it's all good, I'll be fine. Then you get a cold and that shit puts you on your ass, and you're like, fuck, man. Like I think I need to be a little bit more careful in general, anyway. But anyway, enough of that cold shit. We've got an NFL. We got a couple teams to build, right? DraftKings FanDuel, gonna build some squads. I like the format of the show. I've gotten some good feedback from the nation. Quick recap of week 4 for you gentlemen. Joe, I'm gonna start with you. Cash Game City, I know it was a really good week for you. You got some shout outs in the Slack chat. Shout out to you. How was your week 4?
It was good. You know, Cash Game went to 3-1. I had Stafford as my quarterback, and even though he didn't do what, you know, we thought he was going to do, he still put up almost like 2.5, 3x, so it was fine. And then it was McLaurin and Corey Davis was the key to winning cash because everybody had Kelsey, everybody had Sermon, and so it was basically just kind of playing with, you know, everybody had Hubbard too, so it was kind of like I was different with McLaurin and Corey Davis. They were lower owned, and Kupp busted like I thought he was going to do. DK caught his touchdown, did fine. So, and then Devontae Adams was very highly owned, and I had him too. So I had a good lineup, and it just, you know, cashed easily.
Just dirtied on him. Paulie, I got to admit, bro. I got to admit, Paulie, you and I talked before lock, and you were very adamant about how much you disliked Montgomery as a player. but how much you loved him as a play last week. And I got to tell you something, Paulie. I didn't do terrible in week 4. Didn't do great. Did have a losing week, but didn't lose much. And I had one team in particular with a Jalen Hurts, Tyreek Hill. It was just nut city. And instead of playing Montgomery, man, because like you, I got issues with that dude a little bit. I went to Chuba Hubbard, man, and that cost me a comma or two. You know what I mean? That cost me. I got to admit it. That being said, shout out to you and Montgomery. You were real big. You were pushing me to do it. I pushed out. I got what I deserved. Thug life. How was your week 4?
It was more or less like a break-even week. You know, like it sucks to be right on Matt Ryan. You know, like I played
It sucks
him
to be
on,
right
like,
on Matt Ryan.
30% of my team. Yeah, like, and not get paid off for it. You know what I mean? It's like the guy comes out, throws 4 touchdowns, real cheap. He's like the best point per dollar quarterback on the slate at the end of the day, I think it was. And like he does it all to like
Corey
not
Patterson.
the guys that I have.
Yeah, he did. All like Corey Patterson. Yeah. Cordell Patterson,
like,
excuse me.
None to my boy, none to Kyle Pitts, none to Ridley. Like, so, like, as great as that was, it always came with like those 2 guys who just didn't do that much, and it was like frustrating because I had a lot of good things. You know what I mean? And like, it just, held myself back here and there. Blah blah blah. Like, I missed on some of the value. I was like big on Curtis Samuel, Terrence Marshall, but I did have Van Jefferson, which was nice. I had the Cowboys D, which was decent. I had Corey Davis, like some good things, but I had too much like not good things. You know what I mean? It was like a mix of the good and the bad, and I didn't find any of that right combos.
That's like that should be if you ever write a book on DFS, that's got to be in there. You know, like you hit on some things, you miss on some things. That's DFS. Quote Paulie D, 8 Ds. Really was. I feel you though. All right, gentlemen.
You can do good on days like that, if things kind of go right,
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, 100%. Some things work out, some things don't work out. It is what it is. At the end of the day, what you're left with, that's what you got. You know what I mean? Shit.
Walk up, Chris Taylor!
Chris Taylor is a gangster. I like that.
He is a gangster. He is. He is.
He always comes through in the clutch, man. He like always does. He really does.
That's how Joe stays skinny. He's a Dodger fan, so they got like 107 wins. There's 107 times this season. Joey's popping up.
Honestly, man, I thought whoever wins that game was gonna win the World Series. Like,
man,
St. Louis came on really well. They're veteran.
Yeah, that was the way St. Louis came on. And you know what? Fuck them. I've played them so many times this season. They're gonna be low owned. They got Arenado. They got Goldschmidt. They're good. And they didn't turn it on until the last 2 weeks of the season. By that point, I tuned out. They've lost enough money, So, shout out to them. Congrats, Joey. I'm happy for you, man. Very happy for you.
Yeah. And now, for the first time ever in the playoffs, Dodgers versus Giants.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's tough, though, man. The Giants are
a good team. They're good.
But Dodgers, they got tons of talent. Like, they should win that series.
The Dodgers have a fucking all-star team. Like, that lineup is not even fair. Baseball shouldn't have allowed that shit. I'm just hating a little bit, Joe. I'm happy for you. I'm rooting. Hopefully your team gets it again. But in reality, you look at that. It's not even fair. Like, it reminds me of the fucking Yankees from the old days. When they would go out there.
There's a handful of super teams, though. It's just like,
but that one is
the Yankees are loaded too, man. Like, supposedly, you know what I mean?
All right. Yeah. Fair enough, though. But the Dodgers have Bellinger and Seager and Urias and Bueller, all homegrown talents. Okay,
yes, so in addition to Mookie Betts, in addition to
Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor, you didn't mention him in that list.
It's true.
You don't even fucking know your best players. You fucking come through in the clutch.
Yeah. Traded was for the Mariners and was traded at the deadline for somebody. But with the Dodgers, I actually feel worse for the Giants. They were the best team in baseball, and now they get to play the second best team in baseball. Like, there needs to be a rework of the playoffs once they get to 4 teams. The Dodgers should be playing the Brewers, and the Braves should be playing the Giants. The 2 best teams in baseball should not be playing right now in the divisional series.
I don't disagree.
That's
I don't disagree with that.
I think that I feel bad for the Giants because they should not have to play the second best team in baseball, whether if it's your big rival or
The
not.
Giants don't care, man. They're ready to roll. They don't care. They're ready. That's a tough team. That's a real tough team. I would not want to play them.
I'm pretty sure everybody heard you say the Giants were the number 1 team and the Dodgers were number 2, Joe. So pretty sure everybody heard you say that. pretty sure everybody heard you say that. Anyway, we've got some NFL teams to build. We're gonna jump into this dirty style. Gentlemen, I'm opening the floor again. This is not really a cash or tournament. We're just building a team that we think is fucking good. Early, right? It's the Thursday morning for Joey. It's the Wednesday night. So whoever wants to start us off, anybody have any ideas at quarterback?
I do.
Let's hear them.
All right. So this is just on DraftKings. This is just my cash game sense. The highest game total on Sunday is the Giants and Cowboys right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So we got Daniel Jones at 6K in the highest projected total game. Even garbage time at 6K, he's averaged over 20 DraftKings points every a week. To me, I don't see how he's not your cash game quarterback because he provides that rushing floor. He's probably going to be in a negative game script because he's going to have to be playing from behind. So we're going to like that. To me, it's Daniel Jones in cash. I wouldn't mind even playing him, obviously, in GP because you're going to be able to get higher priced players. You want to go, like you said, maybe a CMC in, as a contrarian play because he's less. I just think Daniel Jones at 6K is like obvious. Out. What do you say, Paulie?
I really can't argue with that. I think that game has shootout written all over it. I think you could make a case for Dak. It's like I think this game could go a ton of ways. Like the Giants could win this game outright. They could lead. Cowboys could come back. Like Cowboys could blow them out, but I doubt it. I think we see a close back and forth, high scoring shootout with 2 bad pass defenses, and like the Cowboys aren't even like half a bad pass defense. And like half a bad run defense. The Giants are like very strong against the run, bad against the pass. I see that too. I think either one could be your cash game quarterback. Daniel Jones with the rushing is very nice, and he's delivered all year. And the Cowboys are a team you want to target. I got no arguments. I don't know how like the money's gonna shake out. If I can get Kyler Murray, I'll do that too. But I think the money could be better used, at other positions. So I'm with you. I'm with you all the way on that. Daniel Jones, cash game QB.
So we're going with Danny Boy. And
we don't got to put him in this lineup, but you can say he's the cash game quarterback.
Yeah. Just for the price too. It's 6K. I mean, he should be priced higher for his production so far this year.
So who you pairing him up with? Like.
Galladay played a lot of the snaps. Galladay played a ton of the snaps last week.
Uh-huh.
And you saw his usage come, and I think that the touchdown will come. I don't know what his price is.
It's cheap. The status of the other 2 receivers is so important. Shepard and Slayton both missed last game. We don't know if they're going to play or not, but that would make him, super attractive, super not. I don't know. But yeah, what's his name's coming off? Saquon's coming off a big game too. People may want to play him.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the pass game. If you think they're going to be trailing, a lot of like checkdowns to him makes sense. That's the only tough part about Danny Jones. Saquon's interesting too. And could you play them together?
I mean, I think in a GPP, yes, because
not cash, definitely. Yeah.
Saquon definitely provides some. You could get a touchdown pass from Jones to Saquon very easily.
Mm-hmm. With that,
who would you bring it back with now? I think if you don't go with Zeke, if you don't go with Barkley, I think totally Zeke or Lamb would be the bring back.
Schultz is in a great spot too. It's annoying they got another tight end, but yeah, Lamb. I think this is a Lamb blow up spot for sure. It could be Cooper at home on turf, but I think it's Lamb, and that's probably my favorite Cowboy. But all of them are really candidates.
So the Giants have been giving him up a touchdown to the tight end every game this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it could be Jarwin though. That's the problem. Like
I
everybody
know,
could be
but
Schultz.
Schultz is getting good targets, man. Like it seems like he's really the 1A, you know.
Mm.
So we're starting. What are we doing? Dak or for this one or Jones?
Let's go with Jones, Galladay.
Jones to Galladay.
And CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, impressive. I like the lamb call as well. I think it's lamb. I think it's lamb time, son. Lamb chops. You know what I mean? It's lamb chops.
And it's a giant secondary receiver. The Cowboys have like one of the top corners in the game. He could shadow Galladay. It's possible, like if the other guys are out, and you're gonna get like a value giant receiver like Kadarius Toney, who had like 9 targets last week at like 4K in a blow up spot. So pay attention to giant receivers. There's gonna be a value play that emerges that's gonna be nuts.
Oh, lug nuts. All right, what about running back?
You got to talk about what you're doing up top. You know, Henry, McCaffrey, Kamara, Cook. Like, what's doing up there? That's
so the optimal play. If you money aside, if you could afford him, the optimal play. I'm assuming, Jordan. I'm talking to you is Derrick Henry, right? Tennessee, Jacksonville. I know you'd mentioned AJ Brown came back to practice, but Julio hadn't. Regardless, though, especially after we did last week, we know that Tannehill doesn't look so great. Tennessee offense don't look so great. Only thing that looks good is him. That's like the optimal situation. But I think an argument could be made for McCaffrey. An argument could be made for Dalvin Cook, depending on his injury status. We know he was somewhat limited in that last game. But what do you guys think for the purposes of this lineup? Do you have a hunch? Do you just want to play safe with Henry? Do you want to take a shot on one of the other guys? Do you not want to fucking spend him at all?
I don't think we want to spend up. I don't think so. I mean, I would prefer going with a higher price receiver in that spot. 9K is a lot on DK. What do you say, Paulie?
So I'm with you all the way. Like, if it's cash game lineup, I think you're throwing Derrick Henry in there, but this is not that. So, like, let's pay down.
Let's do it.
I mean, Damian Williams, like I said, is the obvious, like, sort of eat the chalk value play, I think, at running back that will open up things other places.
So, like, I think that's definitely a cash game play only. Like, if this is a GPP lineup, Damian Williams does not enter that lineup, in my opinion.
Fair. Right.
But yeah, I think like he's cash game, man, at that price and the volume he's gonna get against in that matchup. Like, yeah.
So then our goal then is to find a running back at the same price as Damian Williams that you think is a better GPP option at that price. I mean, Tony Pollard is 5,600. If we were going with the stack,
That's interesting. That that's a nice way to get contrarian in that game. No one's gonna be play Pollard. It'd be funny if he drops like 3 touchdowns. He's already had a 2 touchdown game this year. He's capable of it.
We also have Kareem Hunt at 5,800.
In a good spot.
We talked about this pre-show. I don't think the Browns want to get into like a shootout with the Chargers. Like we've seen teams have success run the ball against the Chargers that can run the ball. Dallas ran the ball against them. KC ran the ball against them. You can run the ball against the Chargers. So you have probably the best 1-2 punch in the league. And he's going to get more targets too, especially with Landry out. I like Kareem Hunt right there.
So if they're trailing, like, isn't it so much better of a game for Hunt? And if they're leading, it's like a better game for Chubb, kind of.
Yeah, but Hunt seems to be getting his no matter what.
No matter what. So he's game script proof. I do like Kareem Hunt. I do a lot. Like I don't like a ton of other games besides a couple. This game isn't one of it, but I do like Kareem Hunt at that price. Like, they just have nothing in the pass game. Like, if they're gonna score 3 or 4 touchdowns, it's so likely going to be Chubb and Hunt. And Hunt's like half the price. Like, give me that.
Yeah, let's lock in Hunt. Would you have any? I don't know if we have room for him, but would you have any wanting Eckler? Maybe we got a little bit of a discount at 7,600 coming off of last week's game.
I don't hate it. I'm not gonna play him in the same lineup with a Brown running back, but he's definitely like a GPP candidate. You know, the Cleveland could lead that game, and Eckler could have a shit ton of work in the pass game. And just these teams are like better teams. Like they can score the ball, they can create plays. I see that.
I
I
mean,
think Aaron Jones like the same conversation for 300 more.
to me, this is the game of the week. Let me ask you another cash game. If this is a cash game option, I think for way value on DK, Leonard Fournette, 5,200 against Miami.
Coming off 20 carries. Where'd that come from?
Yeah,
I mean, we're seeing. Man, I just think that we got a major discount right there. We've seen teams just run the ball all over Miami. What say you? Is he going to be popular?
I doubt it.
yeah, there's no way he's gonna be popular.
I
Well,
think
then
the
that's a
fantasy industry is
great
not going to
point.
believe those 20 carries are like even half of those are guaranteed next week.
Yeah, and like people when you go to
Joe,
when people go to Tampa Bay, they want to play the pass game. You know what I mean? They're not trying to fuck around with no running backs. Not to say I don't think it's a good play. I'm just saying what I think perception public for most people. Like this is not a you got Damian Williams. They got the other guys that are exciting. For us, we got we even have what's his name from the Cardinals, Chase Edmonds didn't practice on Wednesday, shoulder injury. If he were to miss, James Conner had a big week last week. I'm sure he would pop up there. So point being, nobody's playing Leonard Fournette, who, by the way, this is unrelated of whether or not I play him or not, but you ever watch him play, man? He drops at least 2 or 3 passes a game that are just like right in his fucking hand. It drives me crazy. It drives me absolutely fucking.
He's wearing number 7 now.
Brady going from James White. You know, like, that's a big drop off. Like for him, throwing to a running back, James White, Lenny.
I mean, Fournette's good, man.
No. He's good. He's
Super
good.
Bowl.
He did, and you know what? He's a good running back. But just that drives me crazy. He's gonna drop a couple passes in his hands. It's going to happen, and he's the pass catching guy. Anyway, so what do you guys think? We'll pick one more of these running backs, and then we'll move on to the defense to see what we're working with.
Don't you guys think Najee Harris is going to be really popular, like against Denver?
I mean, it's the lowest total game of the week at 40.
Yeah, but he's scored 3, 19 was his lowest score in the last 3 weeks. I could see it.
He got 100% of snaps and like.
I could see.
I'm not saying he isn't. I think my question now brings us back to what we started with running back about paying up for the top guys. We've named like 5 or 6 guys that are really cheap on DK. That if things break right, that it could be, you just plug in 2 of those guys with Henry at some points. At least, you could put, you put like Pollard and Hunt with Henry, and you have, maybe a chalky guy, but then you got 2 guys that could really blow up the slate that weren't going to be very owned, or somebody like, Elijah Mitchell could be out again. Trey Sermon's 5K. Melvin Gordon missed practice this week. Monte Williams 4,900. If you think that there's a negative game script in the Philly game, Kenneth Gainwell becomes more viable. I mean, his role is growing every week. My point is I think that a lot of low price options this week to look at that are viable.
Which makes it interesting. Like if we end up seeing, I'm just gonna say this not for the purposes of this team, but if C-Mac is back, I know he came back to practice, and we end up seeing people that pay up.
Talk about this.
Yeah, right. Because at this point, it's starting to look to me like we're gonna see a lot of people grab these lower options. Maybe some of them grab some of these cheaper options and a stud. But if they get that stud, is that stud going to be Derrick Henry at that point? Like, what do we think the ownership is? How is the ownership going to play out on these top stud running backs?
I think that Henry will gain most of the ownership because people will be cautious to pay that much for CMC, at least on FanDuel. Now DK is a little bit cheaper, but still, that's one of the perfect games where he'll just roll up 25 points and nobody will have him, or you'll get him at lower ownership.
I mean, Dalvin Cook. I know he was limited last week, but Dalvin Cook is 8,400 against Detroit at home. At home, only had 9 carries, but still had 6 targets. Only caught 2 of them. That
And
was
he came
pathetic.
out today and said he's not 100%.
Yeah,
That's my point. I think that if that game if they get up by 14 or 17 points, they'll rest him.
yeah,
And they'll just put in Madison.
for sure. Faux shut. All right, so what are we doing at the second running back spot?
Yeah, I mean,
Let's go with Harris.
what kind?
Should we just go Harris for the
Najee
cash
Harris?
game? Yeah, well, I don't mind Najee Harris. I mean, he's like all the
See, that's what
Pittsburgh
we were going-
offense. Like all of it.
Go for it. I'd rather play Damian Williams. But go
All right,
for it.
then
You wanna play
we'll go
Damian Williams?
the Damian Williams then.
If
Shit,
we're
I think
playing a cashy play, then play Damian Williams, you know?
yeah,
Okay.
he's definitely more of a cashy play than the cock.
I mean, Najee's going to be popular too. Actually, you know, I was surprised to see, you know, some sites have ownership projections out already, and Fournette was up there next to Najee Harris and Derrick Henry. Those were the
Get the
top 3
fuck
running
outta
backs,
here.
right?
Ownership projections
Yeah,
in
and
NFL are often whack. You know what I mean?
He's
Often.
He's 5,200 though, CK. I mean, they can win 35-0. Brady could throw for 4 touchdowns, and all he has to do is fall in the end zone for 1 and run for 100.
Yeah,
yards.
but you
it
guys
does
just said it.
hit.
There's so many other people. There's so many other plays. I guess like the people that follow the
It
Vegas
does
spreads,
hit the
right?
criteria though.
Right. Home
and
favorite.
favorites.
Yeah, that's
He
true.
just got 20 carries. Like, is there an injury in like the other running back that like
Yes, Bernard. Bernard's been out, so they
Okay.
have
so
They
he
have
has to get
Rojo.
the pass game?
and Rojo gets like 1 or 2
Rojo's
carries
been
a
in the
game.
doghouse.
Like,
Yeah,
that's
Rojo's been in the doghouse. He has not gotten more
I
than
mean,
6 rushing
Rojo
attempts
might
this
be
season.
mid-priced for all we know. I mean, he's 4,700.
Okay, so maybe given that Gio is out and Bernard has gotten, I mean, Ronald Jones hasn't gotten more than 6 carries, maybe he will be a little more popular. Because you're right. At the end of the day, if he does fit that criteria people look for, he's at home, he's a favorite by more than a touchdown, that whole like formula thing. So that is true. So maybe why don't we use him then? Save the money.
Yeah,
Save $400
save
right
the
quick,
money.
right? Or
There are some
do we get rid of Hunt
receivers
or do
that
we
are
get rid of
dicey.
do we get rid of Hunt or Williams?
Williams.
Williams? Let's do it. Dirty Dick style.
All right,
man.
yo, let's move over to tight end. Like, we got to figure out what we're doing there for the rest of this thing. You know what I mean? Are we paying up for like Kittle or
There's basically
Waller, or what are we doing?
How
It's
do you do it?
Waller or dumpster dive for maybe Schultz in our stack. He's 4,400 or Gesicki.
What about Ingram, bro? We got Danny Jones. Unless we want to switch to
I could see Ingram getting a touchdown. I really could. Like, I think Ingram's ceiling though, like it would help if the other 2 receivers are out. Like, I'd be more on board with this. And like Ingram, I don't think has much after the catch anymore. You know, he's been injured so many times, but he's big, and I think he's like a red zone target. I could see him with like 6 catches, 65, a touch, and like that's like 15, 16 DraftKings points. Not bad at his price. You know, but if somebody goes for like 35, like I don't think you're gonna like that you have Evan Ingram.
True that be true.
But
All right,
it's
so
tough
which we
because you know
I don't mind a little correlation with Gesicki and Fournette.
yeah, I don't mind Gesicki. I like Hawkinson. I like Goddard, but I'm annoyed by Ertz's presence, who is like equally viable.
I mean, at 4,200 too, it's kind of a nice price.
I'm cool with Gesicki.
Gesicki.
He feels like kind of safe, right? Like we know Brissett is like
He's
a
all
tight end lover of tight ends.
All garbage time. You gotta wait. Till like the second half, and then he just blows up. I have him on my main, like almost all of my seasonal teams, and he just like first, second quarter, you're like, what is he doing? And then all of a sudden, he just they get behind, and he just gets
Garbage time is the best fucking time for fantasy, man. Like your team is driving and they're just nobody cares, right? Like, the opposing defense isn't even trying to stop them. They don't give a fuck. It's just, they're just out there like they don't want to get hurt. It's just glorious to see that rack in.
I bet
So
you that game's much closer than you guys think.
What'd you say?
Miami? You think
Said
Miami,
that game's
Tampa?
much closer than you guys think. Yeah, I think it'll be low scoring, close.
Miami's defense, I do respect. I do respect that defense. They got a really good secondary. All day, and familiarity with as an organization. I don't know about the coaching staff, but familiarity with Brady, right? He's spent a long time beating up on the AFC East. So for now, should we go with Jaceki or Paulie? Do you want to go with Hawkinson?
No, that's cool. Put your second there. What does that leave us money wise?
We've got. I'll tell you as soon as the computer wants to cooperate. 55-66 per position. Let's plug in the defense so that we really see what we're working with here. We got receiver and flex to fill. But we got some money to work with, assuming like we're gonna fucking use a 3K defense, right? Like or something.
So like there's the Redskins at 2,300 against the Saints.
Oh yeah,
They just really aren't that good. Redskins are at home.
Give me that.
Like that's got to be the cash game D on DraftKings, but maybe I'm wrong. But to me, that's like, how do you not do?
Oh hell yeah,
Jameis.
Yeah, I mean, there's like you have a floor there, and then you have a ceiling of just massive upside because it is Jameis. 2,300, we'll do it, even if it's for the sake of example. But I genuinely do like. I know Washington's defense underperformed. Everybody's talking about, but why? There's nothing different on that team. I have a hard time believing that they're not going to turn it around at some point.
Yeah.
7,200.
What about
position.
Arizona?
How much are they?
They're 33. They're a little bit more, but
like $1,000 more.
CK likes the San Francisco quarterback too. If it's not
Trey Lance.
He likes them both actually. Yeah,
well, I'm not really into
likes
I'm not really into Garoppolo. I did that on a team last week, and it was like he got hurt, and I was like, man, this guy's a puss. You know,
pussy bitch.
Yeah,
rarely gonna get you there. Like,
but Trey Lance, man,
start stealing quarterbacks. You know, touchdowns. I mean, Trey Lance start
like, stealing quarterbacks or kidnapping quarterbacks.
Half the Saints guy thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Not worth it.
But yeah, I do like Trey Lance if Garoppolo's out. I mean, the dude put up 20 DraftKings points and a half. You know what I mean?
Right.
Dirty style.
So we got what? 7K for 3 receivers.
72 for we only got a receiver and a flex. So 2 receivers, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what we doing at receiver?
I mean, don't we have Galladay and Lamb in there already, or no?
Yeah. We got Galladay and Lamb. We need one more and then a flex. Yeah.
Okay.
Dirty.
All right.
How much per player?
And we have 7,200. I mean, I always like, I think Devontae Adams is still cheaper, and then Justin Jefferson against Detroit is just gimme. There's so many. Paulie, though, I'm going to defer to you. I think the biggest fade of the weekend, though, is Deebo Samuel, and I love Deebo. Deebo's like my boy. I had him last week. He's like my number 1 receiver.
What kind of defense does Arizona play? They play a lot of man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they blitz? Or no, maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like if people go there, and might be a little bit of.
It'll definitely be a chase, especially like that's the thing. If Trey Lance gets in, he'll probably become pretty popular. Like what he did is he's cheap, and then Debo and Kittle right there, easy stack. So I could see it. In all seriousness, the Cardinals' defense should at least be looked at or considered for tournaments, just because of the popularity of the Niners. And in that scenario, and I mean, if it's Jimmy G, I mean, yeah, they seem a little safer. But then he sucks. Anyway, so I don't disagree with that. I'm okay with that. What are we thinking here?
Paulie, who do you like? You think you like,
bro? Fucking like, bro.
I mean, we got a lot of money, so like you look in the high end for DraftKings, like there's, I would say DJ Moore seems really safe. We don't have any piece of Carolina. He's like the number 1 guy by far. Philadelphia can be thrown on. He's going to get like double-digit targets, catch most of them. And you got like Justin Jefferson in such a high ceiling game, and he's been like really consistent. He hasn't had that like blow-up game. This is a great spot for it. And Devontae Adams, like, we do have a lot of money. If you put in Devontae, we still have what, like a 6K guy?
I tell you what, I'm cool with Moore for the purposes of this example, but if I'm gonna take a non-McCaffrey Carolina Panther, I think it's Robbie A, bro. I know last week people did it, but look what Tyreek Hill did to him. Look what Tyreek Hill did to him. You speed
Robbie A
kills.
is not even the number 2 over there, man.
Yo,
Robbie Anderson had more targets than DJ Moore and ran more routes than DJ Moore last week. That's just.
But Paulie's in love with that rookie kid, Terrence. What's his name? Terrence Marshall.
Marshall's
so am I. I love him
Terrence
too.
Marshall is
no, but Paulie loves him like Boo Boo style. You know what I mean? Like Boo Boo.
I mean, I'm not playing Robbie Anderson. Like, I can't believe he was the most targeted receiver. Like,
it's because
he
had 11 targets.
No way.
He had 11 targets. 11.
He had 11 targets last week.
And a rushing
DJ Moore
attempt.
had more.
Is that supposed to be funny? DJ Moore had more?
DJ Moore had 12 targets. But
He did have 12.
And what was Robbie A's targets the week before that? The week before that, like they kind of got smoked, so
they were bad, but they had been talking about forcing him the ball more. So I'm just saying, listen. I'm not saying that I love Robbie Anderson as a play. I'm just saying I love Tyreek Hill last week. This is not Tyreek Hill. This is Robbie Anderson. My point is though with Philly, they showed that speed burns them. They did a really good job on Kelsey, but they could not contain Ty Freak. He was just too damn fast.
Yeah.
So that was all. But I got no issues with Moore, regardless. Should we plug in more? If we do more, it leaves us with 69, which is right there for like I think Evans is right in that area. Najee Harris is in that area.
How much do we have? We have Devontae Adams.
Ooh, you're getting frisky.
62.
52.
62.
62, yeah, 62. He's right, 62. Yeah. Got like Cooks, Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
Nobody really that.
Not pretty.
Dirty alley.
It's a lonely place to be. I like where your head's at though, because I do think Adams could end up being low owned this week. His price went up. He's playing a respectable defense, and he burned a lot of people last week. So I like where your head's at with that.
So I think we should either go with Najee Harris or Deontay Johnson in that last spot.
So go with Moore and Harris or Deontay?
Yes.
So Harris is like the safer play, right? Deontay would be the tournament type play because who wants to burn a receiver spot on a Steeler right now? But they are at home. Mm-hmm. Big Ben at home.
But Deontay's going to get 20 targets.
Yeah.
No, that's true. He is. Yeah, so is what's his guy?
Claypool still out?
Yeah. Is he still
Let's
out?
go with Harris.
Harris? Safe style?
Let's go with Harris right now.
All right.
We'll move on.
We'll move on. FanDuel City. Where you at, FanDuel? Let me pull you up, FanDuel. FanDuel's not ready for me. I'm ready for it. All right. Joey, you want to kick us off with Fandesius Maximus? What are we doing here?
Well, I mean, definitely, I'd probably just put Damian Williams as your cash game running back right now. That's kind of like what I said stands out on FanDuel. For quarterback, I think that you can fit in whoever you want. I think that you either go to Kyler Murray or Jalen Hurts. And that's about it for FanDuel cash. I mean, I all the like Darnold, Cousins, and Jones, I could totally see that too. But I just feel like paying up for Kyler Murray is like, so on FanDuel, I think you can fit it in, so it's okay.
I like you got. I was gonna say. I was like, Paulie. I asked Paulie who should I make as the cover because I didn't know who to put, and that was his guy, Kyler Murray. So I'm sure Paulie liked to hear that. I thought I heard something bang against the table for a second. I was like, oh shit, I think Paulie's excited. So Kyler Murray, I'm with it. What are we doing with him?
Stacking them cheap.
See, I don't even think you need to really.
Cheap pairings.
DeAndre Hopkins is 7,500. You're never gonna get him less, and he has a better matchup this week.
That's crazy. 7,500 on FanDuel. He's cheap on DraftKings too, though, for him, right? Isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, Deebo Samuel is more than DeAndre Hopkins. I love Deebo, but
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, we
That's
could do the double
ridiculous.
stack. I know Paulie got his eye on AJ Green, so we could just do
I do.
do the double
do.
stack. You know what I mean? Just
How much is AJ Green on FanDuel? He's like a FanDuel-esque play. I mean, he's 5 on both, but
5,700.
yeah, he's cheaper on DraftKings. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, he's like 6'4". He was legit one of the best receivers in the game for a time. He's had a couple of injured seasons, but like he's got like new life. He's playing out there in the X and the Z, and like 6 targets a game, 4 games in a row. He's been over 100 yards. He's caught touchdowns in 2 of the 4. And San Francisco doesn't have a corner that's over 5'11", and like they play a lot of zone. AJ Green actually like really, really thrives in zone. He's not good against man. And like I like Christian Kirk too, you know, but I love like getting the expensive QB with the cheap double stack strategy. And like when that hits, like if he throws 4 or 5 touchdowns and it happens to be those guys, or those one of them gets over the 100-yard bonus, the other guy has like AJ Green a 2-touchdown game, like, and you can still load up the rest of your team. It really, like, I love that strategy in DFS with the expensive, low-owned stud quarterback who can break the slate with the double cheapo running back with him. The both them guys, Kirk and AJ Green. But I really like AJ Green season long. Like he's gonna smash this year. Buy up AJ Green.
So AJ Green and Kyler Murray, we could. I mean, we don't even need to bring it back with like.
You don't need to. You don't even need to bring it back, but you can if you want. You got Sermon, you got Debo, Kittle, whatever you want to do. It's up to you.
So let's lock in a defense then. What do we want to do on defense?
Are we sticking with Hopkins and Green or just Green?
Paulie?
It's up to you guys, dog. I just want Hopkins. He's going. I mean, I just want Green. I just want AJ Green.
Let's just do Murray and Green with Williams right now.
All right, let's see what we're left with. All right, defense city. What's happening?
I mean, there's all the good ones are really they priced them right, sort of. So I mean, that's why I like Arizona D on DraftKings. They're 2,900, and on FanDuel they're 4,700. Like they priced them up.
Right.
So same thing with the Raiders D. They're 2,900 too, but on FanDuel they're like 4,500.
Right.
I would probably go with the Steelers D at 4K against Drew Lock probably and the Broncos.
Damn, Washington defense. I listen for every right. I know why they've been disrespected, but they're being disrespected on both sites, bro. 3,800 on FanDuel. We'll go with the. What did you say? The Steelers it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with the Steelers since we used the that's the fucking football team. I don't know what to call them anymore. In the last one, so we'll go Pittsburgh. I'm with that against Denver. Teddy B's hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Teddy Brisket.
Concussion protocol right now.
Yeah. I don't think he's gonna play.
What about
nobody's made it out of concussion protocol in 1 week so far this year.
I know we touched on it on the DraftKings, but Joe, we're not playing Hopkins. I mean, we got the money for Kittle. Should we just use Kittle as the bring back? I agree we don't have to use a bring back, but I mean we could. It's not like Kittle's a bad player.
No, I mean his target share has gone up pretty much every week. I mean he had 9 targets 2 weeks ago. He had 10 targets last week. He's just not scoring. That's the problem.
Yeah,
you know,
Arizona's been really good against the tight end too.
Yeah.
But
shit. All right, so then we'll just leave it alone then. My concern is that if we think like my concern is that Arizona, if they do pound them, that could hurt the upside a little bit of this shit. You know, that's my only concern. That's the only reason.
hasn't been pounded by nobody though, really.
No, of course, absolutely. But if that's the case, shouldn't we want to bring back then? Somebody's gonna keep it frisky. Just saying.
Depends, man. If Trey Lance QBs, he could run for 2. It could be like,
if Trey Lance QBs, I'm playing his ass. I'm flip flopping. I'll keep AJ Green for you, but I'm throwing Trey Lance in there, saving some money, big money, playing C-Mac dog. But in this example, who's next?
Can I propose a receiver?
Sure.
You gotta drop to one knee though.
Kobe Myers. Kobe Myers on turf against the Houston Texans, who got murdered by number ones. This kid has never caught an NFL touchdown. He's gotten 12 targets last week, 14 the week before. He's the clear number one. Mac Jones threw a couple touchdowns last week. Like, they're going to want to get that, like, Mac Jones throws TDs kind of thing going. They get someone on the ground, they're going to get someone on the air. But Jacoby Myers at 5'9" with, like, man, I feel like his touchdown prop, it should be like,
That's good.
50%, and like his floor is safe even if you don't get the touchdown.
Yeah, let's play the guy that hasn't scored a touchdown ever. I'm just kidding. I agree completely with the philosophy. I do. I like him better on DraftKings because I think his floor is higher. I mean, like you said, 12 targets, 14 targets. The only game he didn't get more than 8, or he had 9 targets in week 1 was against the Jets, which was a complete blowout, right? So if this game's at all competitive, which is not for nothing, but it should be, right? Who are the Patriots? I understand they played Brady tough and all that. Brady looked nervous. Ball was wet. He was missing throws everywhere. Tampa Bay should have rolled him. You know what I mean? Let's not overestimate the New England Patriots. But I love that play, honestly. Like he wasn't on my radar at all, but I do love that even more so on DraftKings. So I'm good with it. Let's do it. Let's go.
Go.
Fucking go.
So on the running backs, like I think we have like 4 choices. Like we could definitely pay up for Henry if we wanted to.
Let's get exposure to the Cowboys game.
Yeah, we could do that like through Zeke. We have Zeke, Barkley, Eckler, Chubb, Robinson, and Harris. They're all kind of priced around the same area. Who do you prefer most on that, Paulie?
And like, I'm very confident the Giants' offense moves the ball, scores. If you don't have, the QB, Saquon has really impressed me. Like, they're like easing him up, and now it's like release the hounds in this game they really want to win. Like he could have a big game here. He really could. Dallas cannot tackle very well.
All right, so let's lock in Barkley. And then where do we want to go on receivers? Does that mean we want to go back again with CeeDee Lamb? Do we need something from that game? Do we need somebody on the Dallas side?
We all like CeeDee Lamb, and Amari Cooper was the most popular Cowboy last week. I didn't see that at all. It was like I was shocked he was really popular. Who do you think is going to be the popular Cowboy?
Probably Zeke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
That's a tough one.
I mean, Lamb's price is $6,900 on FanDuel. I mean, Cooper's still more than him.
Was Cooper more popular than Lamb last week on DraftKings?
Cooper was like a top 5 most chalky players on DraftKings last week.
I don't know why I thought that. I thought Lamb was more popular. I don't know why I thought that. Well, I mean, Lamb busted harder. But anyway, I don't know.
Adam Levitan played Amari Cooper in his cash lineup.
I'm with you. I'm with you guys on Lamb this week. I just think that I just feel better about like you kind of like you talk about Jacoby Myers, but I mean, Lamb had a big first week, but we know he's better than what we've seen, right? We expect him to be, and that's just not the script we're going for. Like we're all under the assumption it's going to be like a blowout. You know what I mean? Oop. Lost Paulie right quick. Get him up on the screen. What the hell?
You think the Cowboys going to blow out the Giants?
No. I'm saying like we're going with the script of a shootout, so it would be Lamb over Zeke in that scenario, in my opinion. Unless you could play them both, but
yeah,
So I don't know. I kind of like Lamb if we're going back there. What are we talking about? Yeah, Lamb. That's right. If we put in Lamb,
put in Lamb.
And let me just put in the Steelers D over here. Computer's going slow as hell, so I had to abandon screen share. So what we got? 77 per player. We still have tight end and flex if we go Lamb. Joe, you go with Lamb, right?
Yeah. I mean, to me, then it's either. I mean, the flex part. Then
Aaron Waller.
I mean, Waller's easy to just click in there, and then it gives us 8,000 for flex. Then we could go with like JJ at 8K, and lock that up. I mean, JJ's gonna probably blow up.
I like Justin Jefferson.
All right, then we're doing it. That's
Especially
what
if
we're doing.
Dalvin Cook is like a little, I told CK before the show, Kirk Cousins has murdered the Detroit secondary for the last 2 years, just sliced and diced, 400 yards, 4 touchdown games, like whatever he wanted, he's throwing all over them. 300 plus every game, 2 touchdowns plus every game, just automatic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
I
I'm
agree.
good with it. So that's Kyler Murray, Damian Williams, Saquon Barkley, Jacoby Myers, AJ Green, CeeDee Lamb, Darren Waller, and Justin Jefferson with the Steelers defense. I'm only repeating it because I had to abandon the screen share because FanDuel was just being real fucking slow. All right, so that's 2 squads. That's 2 squads. But before we get out of here, we'll do our best bets for this week, which I have not looked at. So I'm going to take a peek at that while you guys go first. One of the benefits of being the host. Holla. Joe, you want to go first or Paul, you want to go first?
Paul, you go first.
All right, I got the Giants +7 over the Cowboys. That's going to be a close game.
Holla for $1.
Uh,
Yeah, it was too quick. Joe thought he had a second. He thought he had a second there. It's just...
I'm gonna go Buffalo KC over.
Buffalo KC over. Oh yeah, that game shoots out for sure. What's the total? 56, 57? Not high enough.
56,
Not
yeah.
high enough.
I was gonna take the Cleveland and the Chargers under. For some reason, I feel like that's gonna be that's at 47 right now.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, both teams are capable of scoring, but I foresee like a slower clock runs. Both teams run the ball, kind of sloppier game. What do you guys think about the Jaguars responding to their head coach going after some college girls and getting their first win against the hapless Titans at home this week?
I think they're more likely to go out there and get groped. You know what I'm saying? Or go out there and get some lap dance action following the coach's footsteps.
If he's truly lost the team, then they'll just give up and they should get killed.
So Pat McAfee said that like they came into meetings, the coach tried to explain what happened. Someone said some kind of smart shit. He left. They had to cancel it, and when he left the room, the whole team burst out laughing. And it was one of those moments where he heard it in the hallway, walking out of the meeting, the whole team laughing at him.
Oof.
And they're talking about firing him. He
just got no type of NFL is him just don't mix, man. It is and I mean him in the NFL is just not a good combination. He just doesn't have it. But yeah, I mean that's not a good sign, right? I mean, man, and they gave him the keys with Trevor Lawrence too. Oh man. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know.
I also think Detroit, Minnesota over at 49.
I like that. I like that.
That's a lot. I mean, Minnesota's secondary is not very good.
Yeah, and Detroit's offense is actually decent. Goff has only thrown 1 pick all year.
He's a quarterback.
He's confident. Yeah. And there's no expectations, and they're always trailing. They're just going to air it out, and they throw it to the running backs. There's a cheap stack on the Detroit side that, they play this we're getting smoked, but we're going to keep coming back like they did week 1 against the 49ers that, it could work out. Hawkinson, he's done well against the Vikings. Vikings haven't done that great against tight end. I could see him getting a ton of targets this week.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs -3 against the Buffalo Bills, son. I think there's still some value there on Kansas City. They are at home against Josh Allen. It's going to be a great game either way. It's the Sunday night football game, I believe, but either way, it'll be a fun game to watch. So, holla for $1. That's going to do it for us this week, Nation. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Those of you that watched us live, shout out to y'all. So those of you that watched us after the fact, we appreciate y'all just as much. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to come check us out at wisetape.com. Get Paulie's GPP breakdown, Patio Joe's cash game breakdown, my core plays article. We got projections, cheat sheets, all that good shit. But it was a good day for the core. Yes, I know a bunch of us had some solid core plays in there. I know Joey's core did well. I did have Sermon in mind, but I also had Tyreek Hill and I forgot who else. But someone else.
Was the play you needed.
Right, yeah. 2 out of my 3 did well. It was just Sermon who sucked a fair one. And Paulie, I forgot who's in your. Was Montgomery in there?
I think it
That
was
was.
like Montgomery.
I dwell on that one because I should have fucking listened to that one. So I'm dwelling on that one pretty hard. But all in all, come check it out.
It's
Dirty Dick style. come check it out. Either way, we're getting out of here. For Patio Joe, shout out to the Dodgers. For Paulie D, for myself, the entire Wise Take Nation. As always, good luck.
Peace.